is you should never, ever invest for income. It's a mistake. It's no good having high returns if you don't have a source of growth. You can have 29% return on capital employed, but we're looking for a company that has a source of growth, because if it starts the year with 100 in capital and it makes 29% return, presumably it ends the year with 129. What we want is a company that can retain part of those earnings, not pay them all out in dividend. One of the things that I say about investment that you didn't touch on, which seems to vex people a lot, is you should never, ever invest for income. It's a mistake. You want companies that can reinvest as much as they possibly can, because that is how actual compounding in value works. If you've got a company that starts with 100, makes a 29% return, maybe retains typically about half of that, so it starts the next year with 115 in capital, pays out the rest in dividend, and it makes 29% on 115. And it does that year in, year out. That's what you're looking for. Now, that can only occur if they have a source of growth. They need to sell more stuff, frankly, in order to invest. You can't do the investment unless there's a source of growth in your business. So we look for sources of growth, sources of secular growth. We're not interested in cyclical growth, where the company sells more things during a boom and then it sells a lot less in a recession. So there are ups and downs. Of course, all companies have some cyclicality. We're looking for people who have a long and continuous driver of growth. And it typically falls into one of these 5 categories. Consumerization of the developing world. In the developing world, when people go past a certain threshold of disposable income, they become consumers. So when they have $10 a day to spend, they become consumers. Why? Well, they're working in a country or living in a country where they've now got a normal job. They're involved in, the country's industrializing typically. They need to actually have the convenience of being a consumer like we do. They can't spend their entire life sourcing and preparing food. Working in the agricultural sector, they need to actually go to work and have the convenience we have. They're also aspirational. They want to become consumers. So that's one driver. Another one is premiumization of the developed world. The developed world is not consumerizing in the same way that this one is. It's not got the population growth that much of the developing world has got, but we've got premiumization. You know, we may not drink as much as we used to, but we drink more expensive than we used to. If we drank Smirnoff, maybe now we drink Grey Goose, or we drink Ciroc, you know, we used to drink Tanqueray Dream, but maybe we now get a craft gin. We used to put Schweppes mixer in there, maybe we put Fever Tree in there now. We're not consuming more, but we're paying more for it. It's a source of growth. Sometimes it's aging populations. I mean, obviously one of the drivers in the developing world is the youth of population. Young people spend more money than aging people, except in one area. There's one area where aging populations definitely take the lead, and that's anything in the medical area. So medical devices and equipment in particular. Other areas for growth, white space, if you're not familiar with, that's a term that's used in the marketing sales world. If you've got a map of a country or the world or a region, and you've got no sales in a particular country and so on, you color it white on the map. It's somewhere you can grow into over time. There are certain industries that have got massive white space to grow into, and we know that they'll grow over time. Eyes. The majority of people in the world who need vision correction don't get it at the moment. They will. Eventually it will arrive. And when they can afford it and the service is available, they will get reading glasses and other forms of vision correction. Payments. Payment companies are something we invest in. People like MasterCard, PayPal, Visa. People say, well, which one do you prefer? And we say, well, actually we like Visa, but MasterCard's pretty good as well. Right, why do we say it like that? Because actually their big competitor is not each other. Their big competitor is cash. 85% of the world's transactions are still done in cash. It's white space for them to grow into. And if we try to explain to our children maybe, or our grandchildren, that the main mechanism that the world had for settling transactions was that you printed something on paper or plastic that had to be designed to prevent it being easily forged. You had to securely transport it to a bank. Then you went to the bank and took it out. Then you went to a shop and you paid it in. And then the shop paid it into the bank again, and it was circulated again. They're going to regard us as mad, because they just think, well, you walk into Starbucks and providing you've got your phone on you, you've paid. Now, and that's their growth area. Toothpaste, very similar to the eyes thing. 2/3 of the world doesn't yet brush their teeth with toothpaste and a toothbrush, but they will. Over time they will. I mean, if they want to have a relationship with other people who use toothbrushes, fairly certain they'll have to get used to the idea. And some things are just trends. Pets. My favorite subsector for investment in is anything to do with pets or companion animals, to give them the technical term. Pets are a fabulous growth area. In the developed world, and increasingly in the developing world, a pet is a full family member. If any of you have got pets, you'll know this. They are child substitutes. They're grandchild substitutes. people are having children later, they substitute for this. We are prepared to spend seemingly endless amounts of money on pets. In pet food, you can get specialist pet food for overweight pets, diabetic pets, aging pets to prevent Alzheimer's, aging pets to promote flexibility. You can get performance dog food if you run with your dog, like it'll run faster. You can get it for your cat's thyroid condition. You name it. And we are mad when it comes to this stuff. You know, Americans, last time I checked, it was about 4 years ago, spent $10 billion that year on diet pet food. Now, I've never met a pet that can open the cupboard. You could just feed it less. No, the diet pet food costs more than the standard stuff, doesn't it? It's great. And the area of pets that's the absolute pinnacle of it is in veterinary care, because again, pets are moving along continuum like we did. 25 years ago, something like that, the average pet went to the veterinary surgeon, if at all, in its life twice. Now they go at least as many times, if not more times, than their human owners. And they've got there's a great, one of the companies we invest in is a veterinary diagnostics equipment company. And the reason for that is simple. You need more diagnostic assistance with animals because they can't tell you how they feel. You know, the vet can't have a chat with them and say, where's the pain? I mean, usually the vet only, my eldest daughter is a vet, by the way, normally the vet only finds out when they find the right spot and get bitten. Testing, any form of testing, I touched upon veterinary testing is a growth area. Think of health and safety, the nanny state, when you find horse meat in burgers, how do you know? You need mass spectrometry. You need people who make mass spectrometry equipment to tell you. Anything like that is a growth area. We like companies that make their money from a large number of everyday, small ticket, repeat, predictable transactions. We don't like people who make their money, if at all, from a big one-off. You know, it's a building contract or a property development or an infrastructure project or a movie or something like that. You've no idea whether it's going to work. I always cite the example of Molam, the construction company, which celebrated the contract which it got to build the tunnel from Dublin Airport to Dublin Docks. But it was a bit premature to declare victory because it bust the company. Yeah, they got the contract okay. But, you know, going underground in terms of work is notoriously difficult to predict. Movies, unless the movie that you're about to make is one of rare multiple franchises, so Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean, James Bond, there are a few multiple franchises out there. There have been others as well, Star Wars and so on. But once you get outside that, movie studios have not got a clue whether they'll make any money. Disney, a couple of years ago, lost $200 million on a movie called John Carter. This is Disney. This is not amateurs. Lost the money. They have no idea. It's going to work. It's a terrible industry. Very exciting to work in, but, you know, terrible industry. We like people who make their money from things that are relatively predictable. So when we have drinks, when we feed our pets, when we brush our teeth, when we apply cosmetics, when we make payments, when we ride up and down on an elevator or an escalator. That makes money from the service spares and so on. When they make medical devices that we know are going to be required in human bodies, as an artificial hip. When you stay at a hotel, we like hotel franchise businesses. So everyday, predictable events. I think we were trying to work out on our way here this morning how many points we touched in our portfolio on our way to Mauritius. I can't remember. What ones did we come up with? Reservation system. So Amadeus we own. In airlines. PayPal, I ordered something online from PayPal and I ordered some Philip Morris IQOS heat sticks for somebody I know who can't get them where they live. So I'm going to take them some Philip Morris heat sticks. So 3 things we did this morning which were in our portfolio just on our way here, basically.